Love is Not All, Sonnet 30, by Edna St. Vincent Millay. Love is not all. It is not meat nor drink, nor slumber, nor a roof against the rain, nor yet a floating spar to men that sink and rise and sink and rise and sink again. Love cannot fill the thickened lung with breath, nor clean the blood, nor set the fractured bone. Yet many a man is making friends with death even as I speak, for lack of love alone. It may well be that in a difficult hour, pinned down by pain and moaning for release, or nagged by want past resolution's power, I might be driven to sell your love for peace, or trade the memory of this night for food. It may well be. I do not think I would.
Uduasha City, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow, where dancers cavort in forbidden operas, making love to forgetting and flame, where the wealthy play at war with silver swords and silken sashes, where the people mine the dead heart of a burning star for cannonballs and pipework, and where 1,000 secrets hide in a forest of paper and ink. Here, the 5 keybearers reside, the 5 who know the secrets of the broken gates of death. 5. 5 only. There is no 6th spire, forlorn and forgotten in the desert. There is no one who looks to the displaced, the poor and destitute and landless, whose ancestry has been stripped from them by foreign looms and foreign sparkcraft, and no one has ever heard of the House of Ending. But this is their story. Their roots pulled up and burned, they stand in filth up to their necks, and that is precisely why they must keep their heads ever high. Welcome to Uduasha, immigrant. May it fear the name of the house you will build. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about characters with their identities in peril, played by an international cast devoted to fiction-first gaming, collaborative world-building, and complex character drama. Welcome back to Desperate Attune, everyone. We are 1 player short today, but we do have most of the crew here. I, as always, am Prince, your host, and with me is also Salty.
Hello. I saw a magpie with an orange in its beak today.
Thank you, Salty. That was important. That's why I introduced
It's
you first.
important information.
Yeah.
And the name of that magpie, Albert Einstein.
That was Klow. Hello, Klow.
No, it's Albert Einstein to you.
Okay. Well, fair. Also, Tree is here. Hello, Tree.
Greetings and welcome to the Saeeda show with Saeeda and Clem and some of their friends.
Yes, the perceptive and mathematically inclined among you may notice that this tallies up to 3 players, which means Aadiyat is not here today. But we will forge on, as it were, and Aadiyat will be missed. But the show must go on, and so the show goes on. And so, with the magpie with an orange in its beak out of the way, the next thing we must say is that Bidrohi is in prison. But Bidrohi will still be featured in this session because we're going to explore a little bit what prison actually looks like in Uduasha, so get excited for that. And yeah.
Secret, actually. You laugh. I'm not laughing. I'm dead serious about it. Mm-hmm.
And as for the rest of our crew, well, we have just finished a score in which the crew shouldered in on a farm in Gilly Gully and now own a farm where Mushfik has hired some farm hands to oversee it. That happened last session. Some of the people displaced by the fire speakers.
Mm-hmm.
And as for the rest of our crew, we basically have acquired some turf and sort of, kind of gone to war with the Hive, which is the reason why Bidrohi is in prison, because he has killed one of their members.
Yes. That is, I remember this, correct. Yes, right.
Who attempted to surrender and then just got stabbed to death. These things happen sometimes.
That's what people who attempt to surrender deserve. And don't let them tell you different.
Should have successfully surrendered.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have successfully surrendered indeed. And so Bidrohi doesn't get a choice about where Bidrohi's story begins. That will take place in prison. But I thought it would be interesting to see, Clem and Saeeda, how you have been dealing with the aftermath of this claiming of a farm. Starting, I think, with Saeeda, because it's interesting for you. I don't think you ever were a farmer back in Kethris.
No,
just
I
not
wasn't.
everyone
Yeah.
is. Your family was in the fish side of things.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it is pretty symbolically significant that, you know, for the first time, the Kethrisi own land in Uduasha, kind of. I don't think you legally own it per se.
I mean,
you're just
possession
kind of
is 9/10 of the law.
Yes.
And that is more true in Uduasha than it is in most places.
Yes.
And it is true in most places.
Which leads me to the next question, actually. What exactly is your arrangement with the Bakshis after this? You have basically strong-armed them into working for you, and I imagine that this is still true.
Yeah, I think I get the feeling that what we've done is that we've made clear that they don't have a choice really about us being the people they work for, but it may be the case that we would be willing to give them some, leeway. And we do have to accept, I think, that we've pissed the lock porters off, right? So we I think Saeeda's a bit aware that having pissed the lock porters off, we cannot also piss the Bakshis off too much. So ultimately, we are in touch.
Well, the thing is, you can. It is entirely possible for you at this point to run them off their land. You have taken away all the defenses they have, so it would be possible for you to just kick them out and replace them with your own people. That is a thing you could do. But the question is, will you? Because then you're the sort of people who run people off their land, which you may not be comfortable with.
Well, I think Saeeda actually likes to think of themselves on occasion as somewhat ethical. I mean, I understand the theories of qualifications of this statement. But I think that what I want to do is meet with the community leaders of the Ankatam of the Kethrisi, which are, of course, Al-Qadar, and there's a few others that we...
Biskut, Batchan, and
the
Begum, whose name I forget at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. Literally, I was thinking the same thing. Oh, yeah, it's the auntie. But yeah, so they are the people who I think we want to meet. And then maybe I also want to introduce the Bakshis to them and kind of be like, we're not against being somewhat merciful here, but that's only if all of us agree to being merciful. It's just us. But at the end of the day, it is the case that I'm not me, but the Rising Moon School is a key reason that we have the farm. So I guess we have a
Okay, well, fair enough. We will get to that with Saeeda, but I think we start with that then.
Make sense.
And what about Clem?
What about Clem? I think that Clem is also... Do you think Clem would be there, Saeeda? Given that Clem was the one to show a force with Mushfiq?
So, I think at the end of the day, you were part of the school, so it's strange if you're not there, and we have to project strength because Bidrohi is actually in jail. If it's only Saeeda, it does look a bit like, oh, how come none of the people who would normally be here are here?
Yeah, fair enough. So I'm imagining this, by the way, as Bidrohi being pretty much arrested on the spot after the score. So I don't think you had any sort of chance to debrief with Bidrohi or anything.
Yeah.
And
so I think part of this is kind of making clear that, yeah, fine, one of our people got arrested, but that's almost like we're going to try and position this like a feature and not a bug, right? Like being like, oh yeah, Bidrohi is actually like, he's one of the guys who can handle being arrested. So it's not.
All right, then I think it makes sense to open on this community meeting and then cut back to Bidrohi if everyone is all right with that.
And we also
Makes sense,
established, we went out of our way to have like a several scenes where this exact thing is arranged, right? That everyone knows.
Yeah,
that,
exactly.
Yeah. Of course, it's not unexpected that Bidrohi is the person who gets arrested, but at the same time, you know, it's not like you had time to go like, okay, we'll talk about the plan. I'll go to jail, everyone. The way I'm seeing this is like you kill the man in the street, and then like people were like, that's not cool, and took you pretty much straight to the Fursan.
That is often, I think, what the Fursan say is that they turn up with their shades and they go like, "That you're not cool, and only cool people can do so." Actually, I say this as a joke, but that's possible. That is actually what Jai Klev does. So I take everything back.
In this instance, the Fursan very rarely make arrests themselves. In this instance, I just think it's the people of the foreign quarter saw this and were like, don't let this guy run off. Like, there has been a murder. You know, the type of arrest that is most common in Uduasha is a citizen's arrest.
Would you say that it's meddling kids who may have been the people to do citizens arrest?
No,
maybe like,
I think it may have been the roofball team.
I don't think that happened.
Oh yes. No, it's a roofball team. You're right. Yeah.
I think it's the roofball team. Yeah, I think they would have like rounded Bidrohi up at the point where this happened. Yes. Point is, you were in different places during the score, and so no one has really had time to catch up with Bidrohi yet. Like, it may be possible to do so, but I think it makes sense to frame it this way.
Yeah.
So it's the last time Bidrohi went to prison, you had some time to talk about it and plan out how to handle it, but that's not the case now. Now it just kind of happens. But we will start then on this scene of the community being gathered somewhere in Bundervest. These community meetings are kind of improvised. So now I'm imagining it's the backyard but behind the Biscuit's bakery. There's like a big yard there, right, which has like the sacks of flour, the ingredients, the stuff that's shipped in. That's kind of the area we're in. And we have these business leaders or these community leaders. We have a couple of other people assembled. And you have brought the Bakshis there, which I guess means Mazara, the ineffectual leader of the clan.
Yes. I think that the way we've arranged it is that it's very clear that they are being brought here. Maybe I've sent our cohort, right, to be like, oh, go, we're summoning them, right? It's not like it's not subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, is it just her, or are there other people with her?
I think she has some of her siblings with her. That's just quite logical.
Yeah. In that case, I think I'm gonna tell Clem to keep an eye on them, because there is a non-zero chance, even if it is small, that they will do something stupid.
And do we recognize any of them at all? I'm wondering when they arrive. Are they the same ones that tried to put up their own little show of force? The brother who got beat up by Bidrohi's guys, and the bodyguard.
Yeah, they would be.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. That's kind of why I guess Saeeda's also concerned, right? Like that, like it's exactly this kind of thing that could very well be. So I think as they come in, do you reckon that like this is the kind of meeting where we have kind of pre-planned what we're gonna say as well, or do you think that some of these guys are like? I mean, I feel like Alkada's open to this kind of politicking, but I don't know if Biscuit Bachchan's open to this kind of politics.
I think, in fact, the person who takes charge of this meeting is Begum Kushmi Jamadar, whose name I now found. The the dispossessed landowner, the person who has previously.
She was previously a farmer. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, she was a dispossessed gentleman, but she owned land.
Well,
she
yeah.
was a farmer in the same sense as the Bakshi family are farmers, which is to
Yeah.
say, she owned land. She may have worked on it to some extent, but she wasn't, she wasn't
Oh, yeah,
tilling
she
the
was not a
fields
laborer.
personally. She had a person
Yeah.
for that.
She had
But
a person
she's
who
a farmer
had people.
insofar as maybe she made the calls for when to rotate the crops and things like that.
Sure.
Uh,
Yeah. That
Yes. So she sits back and watches these people be led in, and I think before the big public debate begins, she turns to Saeeda with a
Mhm.
tilt of her head, and she just asks, quite casually, "So, which way are you leaning?"
I would prefer that. Sorry, that's not how Saeeda speaks. But
Mhm.
I would prefer not running them off entirely, but I think our people may like to pretend they are more ethical and more principled than we really are.
What you need to understand is people like these, if they're anything like we were in Kethris, and I imagine they are, people like this are proud. The previous arrangement they had was a business arrangement. Sure, yes, on paper they were subservient. In principle, they were working for the hive, not with them, but I don't imagine that's how they saw it. So, we can make it clear to them what their relationship is to the Kethrisi community. Or perhaps there's room for diplomacy. But yeah, he hesitates a moment, and then she says, if the arrangement is made too clear to them, I think wounded pride will be more of a liability than an asset. And he looks out at Mazara, this young woman, and particularly at her hot-headed brothers, right? And there is this look of like fairly calculating politics in her. She is a kind woman ultimately, but she also is the sort of person who realizes that, like, sometimes it is very bad to have people work for you who feel like, who are inclined to rebel against you out of pride.
Yeah, I think. I mean, like this. Yes, 100%. I think. I will say, I will be the blade if you're willing to be the glove.
She nods, and as this is happening, as you're having this rather uncomfortable conversation of like, what should we do with these people? Biscuit Butch-chan is coming out and serving up, well, biscuits, because that's what he does.
Good.
And there is this very awkward tenseness between you, I think, as these people who are effectively your prisoners, and who may in fact end up being like your employees, not by choice, are served like delicious treats by Biscuit, who ask them about their day and is like, "Oh, very sorry about what happened. Oh, I hope you enjoy these. So I heard that your land's very nice. You'll be growing food. Isn't that pleasant?" As he is sweet talking them, you and Kushmi Jamadar and Tipu's mother, the lore keeper, are discussing realpolitik. So there's two like distinct feelings to it, with Alkader and Biscuit being very friendly to them, and meanwhile this discussion of what do we do with them. And I think your eye goes from one to the other. Now I've lost the name of the brothers. Does anyone remember?
One was Taha. That I remember that.
No,
Taha was the farmhand. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was the farmhand. Yes, correct.
Yeah, we only, I think, named the one that Bidrohi beat up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dinesh.
Dinesh.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. There we go.
Yeah.
So yeah, Dinesh is more proud and hot-headed, ready to get into a fight. There's also the other one who worked for.
The other one who worked for Tamira.
They call that one Dinesh's brother.
Yeah.
Man,
Dinesh and his brother are more straightforwardly. Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, these two are straightforwardly proud and hot-headed and think that their clan should be respected. The thing about Mazara is that she is also proud, but in a different way. The hive kind of placated her by giving her nice clothes and luxuries, and like they bribed her, but part of that was also smoothing her ego, in the sense that like your family works for us, yes, but look how rich you get to look in the process. So
Yeah.
she was kind of in a gilded cage, and that seems to have placated her to some extent.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just informing you what the situation is now as this discussion unfolds, and as Saeeda is eventually led over to speak directly with the young woman who is in charge of the clan,
I think
of the Bakshis.
I will murmur just before we enter earshot. I will say I will offer to train one of them, but it may be better for you to imply it as a punishment. And then I'm just going to like say this and then like look at them, say, I know you. You worked for that Akarosi. What was her name? And I know her name perfectly well. Tamira. You worked for Tamira, didn't you?
You address this to the young man, and he.
Yeah, I'm ignoring Mazara like on purpose.
Yeah.
This is offensive. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
He crosses.
Accuracy, is she?
I'm also getting that wrong on purpose.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair enough. He crosses his arms. He looks you up and down, and he says, "I worked with a lot of people," and he purposefully says "with," because I think this is also the reason why he took the job for Tamira, because it allowed that fig leaf of "you work with me," which was enough to satisfy him. I think Dinesh is the person who is not satisfied working with or for anyone, which is why he's been such a troublemaker.
And I'll say, oh, sorry, with. Yeah, no, of course. And you're going to work with us now, right?
Well, that depends. It depends on the arrangement. You fight well, I know that much, he says, looking at Clem, who gave him a thorough ass kicking even after he ambushed them. So,
yeah.
Which he is trying to frame less as I was totally smashed into the ground, and more as, we duo. I honorably lost. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. And I think I will say, sure. Now, I wish to, I don't want to offend anybody, especially not the Begum here, but it is the case that you were earlier working with the Hive, right? And you moved some product for them?
Yeah. As you're still addressing him, he talks and he says, I objected to this. I am principled against the kind of drugs they grow, but my dear sister saw it as the most beneficial business arrangement to grow their crop. And you can tense that these three siblings have very different ideas about how the farm.
This is so good. I'm just going to say, well, in that case, I hope you can understand that we are also folk of principle. I mean, we're pragmatic when we need to be, but I hope you understand that none of us wish to be engaging in activity that we think is wrong. And now I'm going to look at Mazara and I'm going to make clear that if she doesn't play ball, I will lobby to replace her with her brother so hard. No problem.
Yeah.
And then her brother will play ball. Because
I think there is an action here.
His ass. Yeah, 100%.
There is an action here. And the thing is, both of these younger brothers, they don't like their older sister, but I mean, they're conservative and traditional enough that they respect age, right? And I think this is a lot of Uduashan farming culture probably runs off of this. You respect your elder siblings. It is, they may not like her, but they wouldn't openly say so. So
yeah. I think kind of just to make this work into downtime, I want to call this kind of working a project to kind of how you say, to ensure the loyalty of the Bakshis.
Okay, if you're going this path, ensure the loyalty of the Bakshis, then I think it establishes a few things. It establishes that you are not intending to get rid of them, whether killing them or running them off their land.
Yeah.
And I think, the way we will frame this then is this will work towards repairing your relationship with the citizenry of Gilly Gilly Gully. I think if you take over these people's farm and then treat them fairly, it will give you a good reputation in that area. So let me see if we have a faction citizenry for Gilly Gilly Gully. We do not, so I will add it. I think they're tier 2 because they're fairly influential. So, let us call this a 6 clock then. It will take 6 ticks to bring this about, with a sort of peaceful resolution
guess.
with them.
Yeah, I guess on the completion of this clock, we will go to +1 with the faction, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
At the moment, you are complete strangers to this area. You have claimed some land, and you have made mostly enemies, but it was mostly a fight against the Hive, so for now, people just consider it outsiders fighting against outsiders. But I think if you decided to execute the former owners, that would have changed the other farmers' view of you, right? So
yeah, absolutely. So I think then I think this is force of personality. This feels like command. And I am not lying. Actually, I mean completely. Like I'm kind of like being shifty, but I'm not telling lies really. So I think it's just my standard 3 dice. And I think I'm happy to just roll the 3 dice. 3 dice is a lot of dice. So I'll just roll as a fortune. I'm curious about.
Your goal is not to change the leadership structure now. Your goal is just to put pressure on Mazara and be like, you are the oldest. You do as I say, or I replace you. Yeah.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Very good. It's a downtime action, so we call it a fortune roll. There's no stakes here. I do, however, have a devil's bargain for you. Oh, okay. You already rolled. So never mind.
Sorry.
It's fine. You rolled a 6, so we're good.
Yeah, I think
so. It's
in that
case.
It's
3 ticks.
Yeah, and then I can upgrade to 5, right? So
what? You can upgrade that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm gonna spend 2 of my stash, and I think what I will do is I maybe the way this can work is that actually the Begum, as previously agreed, she can be the soft-spoken kind of more conciliatory person, right? So maybe she offers something that she's going to claim back from me later.
Yeah,
she's gonna be
I think what happens. I think what happens is, say that you play the bad cop and you lean on this, like we could easily replace you with one of your brothers, and then the Begum approaches this young woman, and she does like. I think she is a gentlewoman. Had Kethris not fallen, the Begum would outrank her. So what simply happens here is that she steps up to her and she treats her as an equal. She goes like, yes, I recognize that you too are a woman of high birth. And she gives her probably some little gift. Just one of these things, like, we have only just met, we will be working together. Here is this fine comb that is made of some semi-precious material.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that is what happened. So there is like a gesture of friendship towards Mazara, which also, of course, this serves 2 purposes. 1, like, we treat you as an equal, and 2, more bribes will be forthcoming. More little presents will be forthcoming.
Yeah, and I think it's somewhat smooth, right? I guess because we're so similar to the previous management in this way, but also clearly more willing to like take an active like interest and not run them out. I guess VPI knows nothing about farming.
Indeed.
And so in that case, what I'm going to do is I will, for the rest of my downtime, I will spend like whatever stash I've got. But for now, I will just use my other downtime action to finish the clock.
Yep.
And
totally fair.
I think, and so like because it's 1 tick, I don't need to roll. But I think fictionally, what I'm doing is like going around the farms, right, familiarizing myself, showing that I also have an interest, but also showing that I'm going to like be keeping an active eye.
Okay. So this accomplishes 2 things. Gilly Gilly Gully now thinks positively of you. You're better than the last guys. You seem to be have more respect for the way things are done here compared to the Hive, who were just here to make money. And the other effect is you can just simply switch out the crop that is being grown here. Like, you can pivot away from growing drugs. You already burned the crops, right? But no one grumbles, no one complains. People are like, okay, you want us to grow Bitter-Gourds instead, like we used to do? That's fine. We'll just do that. Yeah.
I mean, it seems to me that during like planting food during a famine is a good business sense also. So
Oh, absolutely. Well, it can be. I think, as history has proven again and again, sometimes the good business idea is not
Yeah.
to provide food during a famine, which is why famines happen very often. But
Correct. Yeah.
but in this
Nonetheless,
case, you are doing the ethically good thing and also somewhat profitable thing. So
that makes sense. Okay.
yeah, so then I don't think we need to linger on this because I don't think there are any more stakes. Like, the status quo remains in this farm. Mazara is still in charge. Her brothers still kind of grumble a little bit, but they will respect it. And you mostly leave them alone to like run their farms, take a cut of the profit, but mostly make sure that they prioritize selling to the Kethrisi. That's really what's happening here.
Yeah, and I also think I want them to employ some more Kethrisi, right?
Yeah.
So if there are people, if they're looking for work, then they should be able to find work here.
Yeah, and considering Aadiyat expressed interest in this and is not here, I think it makes sense for Mushfik to sort of take the lead on this. He was looking to get like the dispossessed young men something meaningful to do with their time, so giving them jobs on the farm that pay up some amount of money and keep them and their families alive and overseeing that makes some sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add Aadiyat and tell him that he's running the YMCA.
Yes, good. Inform Aadiyat of this. Clem, then, you were at this meeting, but you didn't spend any downtimes. So
No.
what are you spending your focus on?
I've got some stress to relieve, and we've got a school to go on. So I think before such, Clem would like to talk to Saeeda about Jai Klev. Because, of course, we've thought about what about this burning this table. And did Saeeda say about how Jai Klev absolutely demolished the Empire at all?
I would have said something like, I did not expect him to have grown in strength, while clearly I have not.
Why is he so frustratingly hot?
It's not what I said, but yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
What I will say about him is also that because it is his pride that he, in some ways, values the most. Destroying his pride is as important as like defeating him, and probably it's the case that both of these things will happen at once. But nevertheless,
he called you a spiritual terrorist, right?
To be fair, I don't really know what that means.
Neither do I.
I think it's something he made up. He makes up many things.
I mean, he's a new stud, right? I think you're allowed to make up a lot of things when you hold such a position.
So what do I get to make up then?
I mean, he delivered you a pretty scathing poem, if I recall.
I refuse positively to treat poetry as something that you can use to taunt other people. Poetry is for those like Nikhil. It's not my, what is the word Bidrohi used the other day? Jam.
I was planning on visiting the Colosseum I've been neglecting my duties here. I need to reprioritize things. And if the Falling Star, I suppose, are performing, I could deliver something. Injure his pride. He'll think he'll be ambushing us, but really it's a trap for him.
I think I have some dried mango skin.
Oh, I was wondering, I have... And Clem pulls out the shreds and tatters of the fine shadow silk cloak that Bidrohi still owes them.
Yes.
Consider we deliver this. It looks similar enough to a sash. And it is, after all, the house that has forsaken them. That's important.
You guys probably also still have the cloth that
Mm.
Bidrohi wiped Millay Klow's blood on.
Yeah. I mean, if
Hmm.
you're cool with it,
Yeah.
we deliver this. Well, when I'm there, I have it delivered.
And make sure he sees you.
Of course.
Hmm. Do it. It is time that we rid ourselves of. That I rid myself of this.
You don't have to stand alone, Saeeda.
Hmm. I appreciate the thought, but in this case, it was me that brought him into it.
Mm.
I must take responsibility for at least that much.
As long as responsibility doesn't get you killed.
Oh, haven't you heard? The Prince of Endings has already plotted my death. Nothing shall come between me and him. It's not clear to you if this is a joke or not.
Well, hopefully he doesn't come back anytime soon then.
No, he will come when the time is right.
Well, I'm glad I've managed to get your opinion on this. I wouldn't want to act without proper advisement from, what do you call yourself again?
I call myself Saeeda, but Bidrohi calls me Ustad.
And Salman calls you Vizier of Lies.
Now, why would you go around saying that?
It's just a joke, just some fun, Saeeda. We can have fun in our old age, can't we? Can we not?
If you're looking for fun, I think you and I both know where you've been looking for that. But the House of Lies is, well, let us just say that even though it was not my first time being entangled with the supernatural, it is still one of the strangest.
And Clem, I think, inclines their head and I suppose is getting ready to go to a nice sword fight in the Colosseum to indulge their vice.
Uh-huh. And your new vice, however, your vice has changed.
Yes.
Uh-huh. So how is this serving Tamira's interests? Because that is now your vice.
Yeah. So Tamira is Tamira enjoys a sword fight and play as much as the next person. Indeed, it's a great chance to make a lot of money on the gambling side of things.
Okay. Sure. But I think it's important that we have a scene with Tamira about this, because after all, your vice is service to her, not to Saeeda.
Yeah.
So, and I have an idea in mind for how precisely this happens.
Mhm.
So, I think, yeah, I will just hard frame it. I think you will return to your smithy and home to pick up some things. You've been working as a business partner of Woot's, and you
Yeah.
will find Tamira there. She has sought you out, and obviously she does not come down to Bundervest easily. She definitely does not do it without a retinue of guards. She comes down here. Actually, I think the power play that she can make, come to think of it, is she has come down completely without any bodyguards of her own. She's just a nice, wealthy-looking woman in nice clothes. She's done her hair up. She looks gorgeous. She looks very rich. And there's just some Fursan around. They're just kind of patrolling. It's just the high security today. And I think that's how she actually shows off her power. Like, she doesn't have any private guards with her at all. It's just high police presence wherever she happens to go.
Looking for weaponry, then?
No, darling, looking for you. You know, you've left me waiting here an awfully long time, and that Smith, what a terrible conversationalist. And do you know he talks to himself?
Yes, he does.
Well,
Fills the air.
I'll... Uh-huh. Yeah, she barely listens to you, actually. I think she actually interrupts you. I didn't mean to, but I think she means to. And she says, well, at any rate, you have done me a very great service and a favor. I think we both know what we're talking about. I have some excellent business opportunities lined up because of you. You have cost me an asset or two, but what's that between friends? Anyway, I thought I should say thank you. And this kind of squalor is no place for my darling to live. I've gotten you a home.
Oh my god.
And where would that be?
Well, it's modest, you understand, but it's an apartment quite near to my own residence, so that you can be on hand if ever I have need of someone more skilled than Dinish's brother. And I think she actually called him Dinish's brother because fuck him.
Mm.
Long-term project to find out his actual name.
Tamira's
Which
a
is
terrible
easy to-
woman, and I love her.
Yes.
It's Pride Month, baby.
Mm.
You're allowed to be as terrible as you want to be.
Mm.
Lovely.
This is very much a support women's wrongs kind of situation.
Mm. Yeah.
But yes, so this is how I'm framing your
Mhm.
like. You can go to the Colosseum and fight for her, sure, but I think the way we are sort of illustrating in the fiction why your vice pivots from Woots to her is you have a nice place you can live in relative luxury. You know, Tamira's a wealthy woman, so the step up in quality of life is very high, and so there is some comfort in this. But you know, she's also making it very clear that you live nearby, so that if I have use for you, I will make use of you.
Mm.
Is it agreeable?
And I think Clem looks around as well. I have enjoyed living here, but I do miss my appointments back in Sunfall on occasion.
I thought you
You
might.
know how I like to live.
I'm very familiar. And of course, you're welcome at my home at any time, and if I miss you, I'll swing by your place. I made sure there's extra space. Now, with that out of the way, I'll get some people over here, pick up your things. Can't be a lot of things. Right? How many men do I need? 2?
Just the one, I think.
Oh, well, that's convenient. And so, tell me, he says, taking you by the arm and walking you down the street, and I think she is purposefully walking you away from your things. She'll be like, no, don't worry, my loyal people will take care of moving all of your things and looking through them, just in case there's something in there I need. She will walk you down the street, and I suppose she will go in the direction of the Colosseum and just say like, so, where were you headed?
To deliver a message. And it is opportune that you would swing by. I was wondering if you wanted to visit the Colosseum with me.
Delighted to. It'll be just like old times.
Less jousting, I imagine. They don't seem to do that here.
Uh-huh. Well, the sports change, but the economics, darling, they never do.
Very good.
I guess she walks you down to the arena.
Fantastic.
Okay,
This is-
do you want to make your indulge vice roll now, or do you want to do more stuff first?
Yeah, shall I indulge vice now? Because I might want some more stress.
Mm-hmm.
So to be clear, this is somehow de-stressing you?
Yeah, I think like your vice is technically obligation, but I think the fictional reason why this de-stresses you is that Tamira actually does dote on you. So like however emotionally painful this is, you're a lot better materially supported now.
Love to be materially supported by my emotional demons.
Oh yeah.
By
like,
my girl boss, gaslight, gatekeep, girlfriend. Sorry,
this
wife.
This is still a terrible and awful situation, but
yeah,
I mean, you frame this as your vice, and I mean, a vice can be bad for you, right? Your vice is allowed to be something that destroys you in this game. So
wait, isn't that the point?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
your vice can be... It's called a vice.
Your vice.
I love to be destroyed by my wife on the weekend after I've. Okay, I will sit by my fire. Is going to come into play here to clear my stress completely.
Yeah, so you rolled a 3, but you can clear your stress completely. because you only have 5 stress. Lovely. And yeah, it is true. Like, vice, I think that makes this even nastier, actually, because your vice can be something you know is bad for you, but you still take pleasure in. So I guess you do take some sort of twisted pleasure in either Tamira's company or the material comfort she provides. That's up to you. Uh-huh.
Very good.
All
Love
right.
it.
And what do you do at the arena?
So I'm imagining that Clem is entered in, perhaps. If that's possible to fight, not
Oh, yeah.
representing the rising moon.
I think it's easy for you to... So this is an interesting situation. You can be entered into a fight because you are Rising Moon, because the Rising Moon are established as players. That doesn't mean you have to represent them, but there will still be some of that association, I think. Like, you can't get in without calling on... Because the Colosseum doesn't let in just about anyone, right? So you have to be a member of a high-tier faction to be let in. But you can fight as yourself, that's fine. You don't have to wear the colors, necessarily. But the bookies will know, so...
Fuck it. No. How do we feel about Clem entering in wearing the colours of the rising moon?
I support it entirely.
I think it makes sense, yeah.
And prefer it to the alternative.
What? Clem not wearing anything?
Are those the only 2 options? But yeah,
I think those are the only 2 options Tamira would like to.
If Clem's representing us, I would prefer Clem is clothed.
Yes, this is fair. So then you are wearing a moon. I think we have specified at some point, or maybe this was a joke, that the rising moon is symbolized by a red moon, by like a blood moon. I don't remember if we actually canonized that or if that was just a joke and a nod, but
it can be canonized now.
I think it makes the most sense for it to be a crescent moon, given that we're using sickles.
Yes.
But yeah, I like the idea that it's red, you know?
Yep.
It's communism coded.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, that's the entire reason why this is the rising moon style, and John Harper said that they fight with sickles.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is true.
That's a fun fact to find out about an institution that I've been playing in for the text notes 1 year.
It's not my fault you can follow basic symbology.
Yep.
Sorry, that's too into advanced symbology.
Yeah.
Well, it is a style developed to fight with farming implements. This much is true.
Yeah.
No,
I made that bit up. That was me.
Yes.
John Harper was like, sickles, rising moon.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
There we go.
Quibbling over creative license.
It must be made very clear who has done what.
Having established the provenance of this wisdom, I got it from Zoheb, who got it from John Harper. Then
yes.
Sorry, the other way around. Yes. Anyway.
Indeed.
So, you enter wearing the rising moon colors.
I do indeed.
And who do you hope to fight?
Ooh, who do I hope to fight? I think it'd be funny to fight Hambirao as well, because last time the rising moon went against him, he choked.
Yeah, this is interesting. Sure. So we haven't seen Hambirao for a while. He was pretty much like, he didn't like you guys very much, but he did like Moss. And we basically left him off.
That's what it was. Yeah. I mean, I guess he's not happy with us because the one person he liked is no longer with us.
I have a question, which is, how does it look now that the Falling Star School are no longer the darlings of House Anrakis, and House Anrakis has pulled the plug on their funding?
Yeah, so I think what is happening here is actually like, Clem, you're entering more or less, like you're wearing the Rising Moon colors, but you're entering more or less as yourself. You're just going like, I am just here as a soul fighter. You know, this is my faction, but this is not like a clash of factions, right? And I think Hambirao is entering in the exact same way. Like, he's wearing the red sash of the sword school, but he is also just here. Like, he doesn't have any particular backing. He doesn't have any particular stakes on this. And he doesn't know you all that well. So I think this is relatively like 2 individuals meeting. That's the vibe of what is happening here. And let's also remember that Hambirao is himself nobility. He doesn't actually need the Rising Stars money or the sponsor money. So
This is passion for him. That's the thing
Yeah.
that's really
basically. Mm-hmm.
I think Clem makes a comment about a nice sash.
Yeah, I think he steps out. Probably what with his. I think last time it was him carrying the umbrella because it was raining. Today it is not raining, but he has a little parasol just to keep him in the shade, which he sets aside before the fight because he does take you seriously now. But he turns and looks, and he says, "Thank you. And I see your colors. They are new on you, but they suit you well."
As your sash does yourself. Moss said a lot about your skill. I'm excited to fight you. I hope
He
that
does.
you enjoy this
Go on.
fight as much as I will.
He gives you a little bow, and he says, "I believe I shall. Let her know I miss her company, if you have the chance." And he raises his blade.
Nice. And I think, Clem nods and raises their shield. And I think it's just the shield that they've been fighting with.
Mm-hmm. All right. So, what are you hoping to actually accomplish here, just to get this out of the way? Because I don't know if we're playing this out as a whole fight scene, but it's up to you how you want to frame this.
I think framing it just down to one roll, the outcome of one roll, makes sense.
Yep.
And I think what Clem is trying to achieve here is, well, ideally a victory, but essentially an opening in which dramatically blades locked together against the shield, they can slip that message to Jai Klev onto Hambirao.
Okay, so I think getting a message to Jai Klev, we could frame that as a downtime action, but I don't know that it makes sense here. I think this is just a free play action.
Yeah.
You're trying to get this message, so I'm going to call it a finesse.
Yeah, that's cool. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And we'll frame it as risky standard. Standard is you can get this message via Hambirao to Jai Klev, and Jai Klev will understand this message because, after all, he's a supreme poet. He understands symbolism very well. So he will be baited into what trap you're setting.
He took symbolism 102 rather than the 101 we're all on.
Yes.
Symbolism D, that's what they call it.
Yes, and the risk is simply that you lose the fight. Like, if your primary goal is getting this message, then Hambirao is still a skilled swordsman. And this is also an arena fight. I think it is the case that if this were like a street fight, no holds bar, bludgeon him to death, you would have way the upper hand on him. But it's not, right? So he excels at winning on like a technicality where he can be like, I put my sword to your chest and there wasn't any force behind it, and I really just like snicked your clothes slightly, but that technically means I win.
Touch.
Yeah,
it's a touch. Very.
Cool. I'm going to push myself for effect for great, and then I'm going to trade up for controlled standard.
Okay, a little.
I've got a shield, baby. He can't touch me.
A little unorthodox, but fair enough. All right, controlled standard. What is a suitable control consequence? Well, I can't think of one now, but we'll just roll. Maybe you won't even get one. But that's fair. I will let you push for controlled here. It makes sense.
All right, controlled standard. Cool. Any devil's bargain, or shall we just roll as is?
I think I can have a devil's bargain. Oh yes. I think we have played Hambirao. I was quite perceptive. So here's a devil's bargain for you. He will figure out that while you wear the Rising Moon colors, I forgot the name of the sword school there for a while, you actually work for Tamira. And he will not figure this out like in this moment, in this fight, but he will come away from this fight realizing that, like, this was a play. I see. Someone else is sponsoring Clem now.
You know what the dead giveaway is?
Uh-huh.
This woman is at Gethrisi.
Mm-hmm.
She's Severusi, and there's a Severusi drug lord in the audience.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
there
Tamira's
are-
Akarosi actually, so don't worry about it.
Yeah.
There are
fine.
plenty
What's
of
it-
ways to...
Where's Tamira from? Nobody knows. She just
No.
spawned one day out of our
Tamira is a
nightmares.
I mean, the answer to this is Tamira is a citizen of the world. Like,
yeah.
100%
You're
has
correct.
Oh my
world
God.
vibes.
You're
No,
you're
no,
you're
we
saying
established-
Tamira's Mr. Worldwide.
No, we
Uh-huh.
had
Tamira's Pitbull.
we had an entire extra where we established that Tamira is from a Severusi house.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that said, I
Big
think
is
she
never a
is...
thing, but
this is
I
the,
mean,
this is the canon that you are
Uh-huh.
part of, Prince. Don't back away from it.
I'm not backing away from it, but I am saying I think it's also established that Tamira is the sort of person who like speaks 6 languages and has lived everywhere. So
Yeah.
Mm.
Mhm.
yeah, this
Mhm.
makes sense.
Yeah. Can I make the devil's bargain worse?
yes.
Can I?
Can I please make the devil's bargain worse? I truly love this game. Please go.
Yes.
I proclaim Tamira, the lady of what is it? Love and Beauty. You know.
Oh my god, like Game of
Joust.
Thrones?
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Okay, yes.
Is Tamira secretly Lyanna Stark? You can tell I'm
Joust,
reading a
jousting
Game of
rules.
Thrones.
Yes, absolutely. Proclaiming your loyalty to her makes a lot of sense here. And mostly what this does is it invites Hambirao into this weird situation you have now where he can exploit your split loyalties, should he feel like it down the line.
Hamby rousing the situationship.
Yep.
Oh, no, I
Texting
didn't say
Moss real quick.
Mhm.
that. Oh
Yeah.
my god. Hey, do you mind if I involve your ex-teacher in my weird
Uh-huh.
situationship? Sorry, too late. It's already happened.
Okay,
Lol.
controlled standard 1 bonus dice. There we
Yeah.
are.
That's a 3, which means I do get to try
Wow.
again, right?
Yes, so you can try again from a risky position.
Risky,
so let's
yeah.
frame it that way. Yeah, I think what happens then is that it's exactly as said. Hambira is very elegant, very like quick, and since you can't just mow him down or rely on strength, he very gracefully fights you and keeps you at bay. And you realize that you might actually lose this fight.
Mm,
So
yeah.
it's
He is
Try
very
again from
good
a-
at fighting.
yeah, try again from a risky position. So
Yeah.
we're back at just risky standard.
Yeah, risky standard, and I won't add the devil's bargain die because we've
Nope.
done that already.
Mhm. Yep.
Right. That's a bit better. That's a 5.
Yes.
That's
Okay,
incredibly bad. 6 dice
Mhm.
were a
Single
failure.
6. Yeah.
Incredible.
And no 6s. Yes. So it is exactly as you said. You fight him, you manage to smuggle this sash onto him, probably without him even noticing, or this cloak, sorry.
Mm,
But yeah, the message will be delivered, and Hambira will understand this, I think, perfectly clear. But you do lose the fight, and I think the way you lose the fight, and you can resist this, but I realized that the dramatic way to lose the fight, since you talked about like you wear the colors well and all, is that you have this like moon emblem somewhere across your chest, maybe across your back. It's some sort of tabard, and he cuts it off you. He like scratches it. So he wins on a technicality because you're armored underneath that. It doesn't hurt, but he like defaces your colors and beats you.
Fuck, the symbolism's too good to resist. I'm not resisting that.
And yeah, so he does that. He turns around after the judge has declared the fight over, and he says, "There we are. I enjoyed fighting against you, but next time, do not fly a false flag like that." And he nods up towards Tamira and just goes like, "I know who you truly serve."
Until next time, then. I look
Very
forward
well.
to it.
You know who flies false flags? Pirates.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so he departs the scene, and you're left with one more downtime action to your name and a message delivered to Jai Klev. Do you know what that downtime action is real quick, or shall we switch to Bidrohi?
Yes, it does actually. It has something to do with Bidrohi. Clem's going to visit him in prison.
Okay, lovely.
Oh.
Then we will cut to Bidrohi first to see Bidrohi being introduced to his prison situation, because we haven't actually seen the prison under Falcon's Perch before.
I guess part of being tier 4 is that you get visitation rights.
Oh yeah, like Bidrohi has a good situation. So, tell me, Bidrohi, who is it you meet with upon being taken into prison? Like after the guards have handled you and like taken your weapon and so on. Is it Roxana or is it Captain Peregrine? These are the two people who have who are the reason you have tier 4. Yeah.
I was muted. I think definitely Roxana, Captain Peregrine too, if he's not busy.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the two people that I have this arrangement with.
Yes, I'm saying it's one or the other because I don't want both people in the scene. So pick one.
Sure, it'll be if I have to pick one, it has to be Roxana then.
Okay, sure. So what we know about Roxana is she is a pragmatic and kind of tired woman. She was unwittingly recruited into the fashion police, which is not a thing or not unwittingly, but against her will. She's not fond of it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't actually access Roll20's down for me now, so I don't know how the fashion police is going.
Is that on
it's
the
a project.
faction clock?
Yes.
It is one tick away from completion.
Yeah. So to remind everyone of what this fashion police is, it's House Anrakis are aiming to get a chokehold on luxury clothing in the city and basically have a monopoly on the sumptuary laws so that no one can wear luxurious things without their say so. It is very near completion, and Roxana has been, it's part of her job to do this now. But I think that means that she has actually followed you back from the foreign quarter, which is where she spends most of her time now and why she was alerted to this quite quickly. So as you are temporarily, you're just thrown into an interrogation room, because that's how it goes. Roxana comes in after you, after having waved aside whatever constable was going to handle you. She steps in and she looks at you with rather tired eyes. And she says, Who was the man?
Oh, it was some hive guy. Some hive mercenary. Just, working to plant and sell drugs in Udwasha during a moment of famine.
Right. I don't know if the falconers can pull any strings on this one. I doubt it. But if it's the hive, we can't send you back to the hand. She considers.
I mean, I don't want to go to the hand. This is what we talked about, isn't it? Something goes wrong, we can't pretend otherwise. Every now and then something's going to go wrong. I'm the guy. So I'm here.
Out of curiosity, what trauma did you take? You took a trauma last session.
Haunted.
What is haunted? Good. So yeah, she says, all right then. I suppose we did talk about it. I'll inform the falconers, but for now, well, you've been searched, I take it. She looks you up and down like you don't have your sword. And I think it's the case that, you're important enough that she doesn't give a shit if you have a shiv hidden on you. Maybe you can have that, but she looks you up and down to see like that your sword has been taken away. Do you think anything else has been taken away from you, or do you think that your tier 4 here has afforded you basically just they disarm you and then don't even look in your pockets at all?
Yeah, basically like that. Just
have you seen? I was gonna say, have you seen the new Guy Ritchie series, The Gentleman?
No,
I have not.
Okay, so in The Gentleman, I think basically all the really rich criminals go to a prison that's like a 5-star hotel. They're in prison and they don't get weapons, but they get everything else, including like a really high-end sushi chef. So this seems it's possible that this is what Bidrohi is like.
Yeah, this is definitely what is being lined up. I'm just establishing here what.
Yeah.
I mean,
how much Bidrohi has been like prepped for this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
And so she says, well then, I'll take you to your quarters. But be warned, it might be some time where the hive is involved. You never know. And this is less about like your sentencing, which is kind of whatever, and more about how long until they can clear out like all the bureaucratic bullshit that's going to go around. Because the hive is good at bureaucracy, right? They're extremely effective against this. So they're going to conspire to keep you in for some time. And I think the sentence that was actually established is like months, weeks or months. So it is a longish sentence.
Let the hive do what they want. In fact, I want it to be very. You arrested a high-profile criminal, right? One of those guys one of those immigrants down in Bunderwest, the Ketrisi, and all that. People are talking about them. Let it be known. When you make the public statement about this arrest, let it be known that it was because of anger at how Uduasha's vital farmland was being taken over by foreign drug dealers. Let it be known.
I think she looks very tired, right? And she says, you can get whatever letters you wish out to journalists or rabble rousers. That's none of my business. Come, I'll take you to your room. And I think she's willing to do many things, but she's not willing to be your mouthpiece.
Well, I assume that she would have to make a statement.
Yeah, she does have to make a statement. She just
Really
I think
doesn't want
Roxana
to help you.
I think Roxana is the sort of person who doesn't make grand, detailed statements, right? She makes
It's just like,
very
we made an
minimalist.
arrest.
Yeah,
Good night.
exactly. Yeah, this is not because she dislikes you. I think that's just her personality. She just doesn't like holding grand, long speeches.
Who was arrested? Some guy. Why? I don't know. Good night.
Yeah, pretty much. But she takes you along and escorts you to your cell. And as predicted, right, your cell is, I think it's very deep down under Falcon's Perch because it still is high security. This is for two reasons. When they arrest people like you, they hold them in maximum security because they're flight risk, but also because they have enemies. And they really don't want you to be like, with the common prisoners who get shivved and stuff.
If you're going to be shivved, it's going to be with a very high quality shiv.
Yes. So it's deep down under Falcon's Perch in one of the like private cells. But since it's this deep down and windowless, it also means, of course, that no one can really see the fact that it's quite spacious and that it is in fact equipped with running water and probably electroplasmic light too.
You have water and light?
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you're
tier
not
4.
even and you're not even sponging off of the water bearers to,
No.
get your facilities. Damn. Some people
Yeah,
get all the luck.
Yes, the Fursan are paying for this one.
Thank you,
Very good.
police.
As it should be. We pay. We pay them.
Yeah.
Yes, that is.
So you're taken down to this room, which is like, it has a bathroom. It has like a pretty big bedroom. I think there's even like a small like storage closet for things later. But the main thing that you're equipped with is that there is a guard standing in front of your room. And this guard has the look of him of, well, he is a Fursan. He wears the uniform. He wears the outfit. But he is tall, lanky, with a very elegantly waxed mustache. And he has the look of him like if he weren't uniformed, he'd be a dandy.
Hey man, what's your name?
Yeah. So he grins at you. I didn't name this guy. I had an image in my head of him. But, what name can we give him?
Samson.
Samson?
Yes.
Yeah.
I
actually also like Samson. There's loads of. I know more than one Samson. So yeah.
I'll roll with it. Yes. So he goes, "My name's Samson, and I'll be watching over you and make sure that you don't try anything funny. And in return, of course, I'll be doing the funny things."
Man, this is both great for me and bad for me because I have a great sense of humor, but I also love guys with great sense of humor. Can we not both be funny?
We'll get along well, I think. And
excellent.
Well, we can both be funny. It's just you're a little bit limited in acquiring entertainment. He like puts a hand on your back and guides you into the cell, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. But fortunately, I have no such limitations whatsoever. So, what can I get you?
Oh,
and I think Roxana looks like she's washing her hands of this, right? She doesn't really want any part to do with this. This is more of a Peregrine spiel while you've been set up with Samson.
What sort of things can a Samson acquire? Samson. He says, trying to figure out what's on the menu, as it were.
Yeah.
I guess horrible things as well, and as great things, I guess.
Oh yes, like there's. Let's not be two ways about this. Samson makes his business in here primarily by being a pimp.
Hmm.
That's mainly what he is implying.
Hmm.
Um,
So I think
but
as soon
he
as
can, he's fully capable of getting you other things. But we can veil this a little bit. But that's what he's suggesting.
Yeah.
As soon as he names a bunch of sex acts, some of which Bidrohi hasn't heard of before, he just says, Samson, that's great. That's a very comprehensive menu. Thank you for listing your rates, the items, and all that. That's very good. I'm in a committed relationship, but thank you. It's good that if you can acquire such things, you can also acquire things that I would like. I would like to acquire my doctor. Is it possible?
You have a doctor?
Yes, I have a doctor. What do you take me for? I take my health very seriously.
Of course. Well, if you give me your doctor's name, I'll do what I can. There is, of course, visitation hours and such. But if you want the doctor outside of visitation hours, I have ways.
Samson, I need a doctor right now. As you can see, I am in. I just got back from this really cool fight. Right? You should have seen the other guy. He says, and he laughs a little bit, even though, and I think there's a hollowness to that laugh.
Yeah.
You should have seen the other guy. Haha. Okay, so my doctor's name, his name is Arin Bhai. Bidrohi says, and pauses for a little bit because he doesn't actually know what Arin's full name is. But anyway.
Yeah.
It's Arin Bhai. He's in Bunderwest. I mean, just like if word gets to my guys that I need Arin Bhai, like everyone knows who Arin Bhai is. That's easy. And
then
we'll
word will
see.
get to him, my friend.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose I suppose my mother already knows that I'm in here. I also sent a letter about that. Okay. Okay. First thing, some paper and ink, please. I will write 2 letters and then Arin Bhai.
Paper and ink. Oh.
Yes.
Please, sir. It's in the desk drawer right over there. You don't need to ask me about such trivial matters. And indeed, your room has already been stocked.
Is there complimentary fruit on the bowl?
Yeah, there is. Like, you are being
the
well
minibar
taken care of in here. Yeah, you are absolutely being well taken care of in here.
Are there mints on the pillow?
Mm-hmm. I think there are, and there are, however, slightly sinister things going on here. And I'm gonna be forward with this, right? Samson is doing this partly because you're a VIP, but also because he's a smart guy and he has an agenda.
Of course.
You can make moves on him or something, but this isn't him obeying Ruxana, although Ruxana assigned you like one of the luxury guards. But this guy is entrepreneurial.
Yeah, that's fine. We listen to that, we accept it, and we may even be at home to it and reward it, depending on what he wants. But for now, he has services to offer, most of which I don't want, but this is what I do want.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I'll also flag, because we mentioned it previously, which is that when Bidrohi went into prison and we made the incarceration roll, I had the chance to take plus faction status, and I took it with the vigilant.
Yes.
And the reason I made that, publicly stated stuff about, like, how Bidrohi reacted against the drug dealers and so on, even if Ruxana's not going to make a statement, I wanted that to have been heard within the prison by some people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I would like that to pivot to start.
Mm-hmm. I have an idea for that. Like, this is actually why I introduced Samson. He is not a
Okay.
vigilant, but there will be an angle for it.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I have level 2 and level 1 harm, so Arin.
Yeah. So, we don't have to make... I think what makes sense here, then, if Clem wants a scene with Bidrohi, before we get the vigilant involved, I think let's have Clem arrive with Arin. Right? Into some sort of visitation room. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, so basically what is being set up here is that you ask for your doctor, someone will have to bring Arin over, so that will be Clem, and Clem, Arin, and Bidrohi will be allowed to be in a room for a private conversation, which is one of the, like, visitation rooms / I guess they actually would have something like a room for doctors to see to the inmates, right? So there is a room dedicated for that. It has a bed, it has a couple of mirrors, it is otherwise very sparse. And this is where we set the next scene as Bidrohi is being treated.
Mm.
Okay.
So there is room for conversation. There's also room for you to just make your recovery roll real quick if you want to do that.
Sibling Clem, I heard that the farm thing went really well. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. How are you holding up?
I mean, a little ouchie, but aside from that, it's not bad. I got this cool guy Samson, who's like, okay, let's be honest. I think he's mostly a pimp, but like I'm not into that. But he can get me other things. Also,
Clem raises an eyebrow, goes,
also
ouchie, ouchie.
Also
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah,
Brief sidebar in
Sorry.
real life. I once ran into a pimp. He asked me what I wanted, and I said, actually, I'm here to buy pens. And then he took me to buy pens.
Fantastic.
You know,
Was it a good pen?
Yeah, they were okay.
asking the important questions.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Yeah, great,
Mm.
fantastic, amazing.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm glad that your stay here is all right then.
Yeah, I mean, just started. I prefer to be out there, seeing two things. Like, it's a very delicate time, right?
Mm.
I mean, I'll try to do what I can from in here. But it'd be nice to see you, Saeeda auntie as well, Ustad. If you can let her know that I wanted to see her, that'd be nice. Aside from that, I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is time to kind of like consolidate our gains. We'll see.
Mm.
What are you thinking, Sibling Clem?
I thought your sister's teacher, ex-teacher, I suppose now, at the Colosseum.
Hambirrao?
He's good.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah, Falling Star, man.
Mm.
It's
I
not
was
just
going to write a letter to her.
Sorry, what?
I was going to write a letter to her. Would you like me to write you in as well?
That'd be nice.
Hmm.
So wait, so you had a match in the Colosseum, or was
Yes.
it? Holy shit! Oh, okay. Okay. I think I'm also out of character. I'm also going to make a healing roll because I think Aaron's working on me in the background. To see how that's going, and then we'll
Absolutely
continue
do
the
that.
scene. Yeah. Number of dice, was it 3? Because we're tier 2. He's an expert. Oh yeah, he has his own thing. Let me just roll that.
Mm.
Okay, that's a 5. 2 ticks. Yeah, so I think Bidrohi is asking for details on like how this fight went because he's like, holy shit, this is huge. First time since in a while that Falling Star person went to fight in the Colosseum. How was it?
It was a fight, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I think Clem is very studiously not saying that technically they were not part of the Rising Moon when they did this. I passed on our regards to Jai Klev. Saeeda wants to burn the table. Doubtless he'll interfere. This way, he won't be a problem for her anymore.
Sounds like sounds like this is a way for. I mean, sounds like this means that he will be interfering, no, and that he will be a problem.
Indeed, but we'll be ready for him. Better than he sends another one of those poems our way.
I see. An ambush. Very nice. But Sibling, you must remember that even though you're setting up this ambush, that when the moment comes, it must be 1v1. It must be the two former lovers, now mortal enemies, facing each other, and the heat of their sexual tension shall be more intense than the Udu, and so on and so forth. You understand?
Is this how your duel with Myra went? I remember it a little bit more differently. But
Well,
sure.
My little Clem and I were not rivals.
I mean, historical sin and all that. Kind of felt like you were. But that's beside the point. I came with Arin to talk to you about what happened when you were visited by the prince.
Which prince?
The one that Saeeda calls the Prince of Endings. You were cast as him, weren't you, in the play?
Yeah, that happened.
What was it
about
like?
it? What was it like? Bidrohi kind of like scratches his head as he thinks about this. Honestly, I don't really remember. I feel like I felt something happening. It was a very strange time. The entire thing. It was very abstract, very symbolic, and so on. And I remember that I felt that I don't know, have you ever felt like if you did something, like you were at this moment, like if you made a certain decisions or you thought a certain thought all the way to conclusion, you would no longer be yourself, you would be someone else? I think like when this normally happens, it's like, when you be the someone else in this sense is just like yourself, right? But like slightly different. So imagine like that, if you're able to follow me, of course, if you can relate to this. But like imagine like that, except you would be literally someone else. It's kind of like that, but like, when I have these thoughts and I think that the person that I'm going to be is not who I want to be, I just don't think that, I identify it, realize what's going to happen, and then I realize that that's not me, and I just don't execute the thought. It's kind of like that. Like, yeah, this Prince of Endings thing in this play, this moment, just didn't want to be him. So I wasn't. I don't know if that makes sense. I don't know if it makes sense to me either. It's just like me trying to put it into words,
I ask because there's another name of the prince, and I wondered if you remember it.
Yes. Prince Khatam.
There's another one out there. God is a god of many things, right? The demon princes have multiple things in their scope, so why should our god of endings not also be a god of beginnings as well?
Yeah. I say Bidrohi is nodding along. Yes, waiting for you to continue.
I want to establish that as fact. Saeed is going to die before they see their god of endings. But maybe they can begin again with another name.
She said that?
She did. I'm not going to let that happen.
And
I am using my kindred spirit. When I honestly announce a cause, belief, or intention to someone, I immediately learn how you feel about it, and I have the initiative.
Sure. I think Bidrohi just scratches his head a little bit and says, I mean, the entire thing about like this Prince of Endings thing, and Arin, you're listening to this, I have no idea if any of this is making any sense to you at all, but like, the entire thing about this Prince of Ending thing is that Ustad Saeeda decided that this is a thing, and through arcane fuckery and abstract bullshit and sheer force of will, and also a little bit of alliance with that Salman guy, that Salman fellow, she is starting
Salman fellow. That's how you're going to refer to him?
Yeah, what else are we going to talk about?
Impressive.
Yeah, dude sucks. Let's not forget that all of this started because he wanted to get laid. Oh, has he gotten laid yet, by the way? No. You have to know.
Fortune roll.
I am literally speechless right now, but I don't think he's gotten laid on account of being some kind of hobo in the Undercity.
Oh, I think that makes him more attractive. But anyway, let's
Sure,
first
yeah.
digress. Yeah, so Bidrohi is just like, so. I mean, the entire thing about this, like sibling claim, is that it seems like it's kind of real, but it's also not, and I can't tell how much of the unreality is itself the inherent point of this. Like, man, I have no idea what the hell's going on with that woman. I must be honest. But like, if she says that she will not live to see it become real, whatever that means, then I can't say that I can gainsay her, because like I don't know enough about whatever's going on with this to have an opinion about it. But at the same time, since all of it is basically bullshit anyway, if you don't want that to become true, then I think it's probably relatively trivial to help Ustad Saida survive this. Probably the best way to do that is to stop her from, and I don't know, give her some other hobby.
Enrichment for our dear Ustad.
I guess, but I feel, I'll be honest with you, sibling Clem, as well. You are also into bizarre, arcane bullshit and fuckery, and I barely understand your motivations, so I cannot pretend. And I'm saying this with full love, so I cannot pretend that you would really be interested in stopping her pursuing this Prince of Endings thing. Am I right?
Very perceptive of you.
Okay, so
right.
you want her to pursue this path, create this Prince of Endings thing, which is the thing that she says will happen which is a thing that will only happen because she says it will happen. But you don't want the bit where she says that she will die before it comes to happen, even though that's also based on the same ontology as the thing itself happening, i.e., things that only Ustad Saida says will happen.
Yes.
I guess the best way to stop that, if I understand the logic correctly, probably the best way to not make sure Saida survives is to stop Ustad Saida saying things like, "Oh, I will die before this thing comes to fruition." If she just stops saying that shit, then maybe that bit will not happen. I mean, it's all make believe anyway. Why not change the story? Though
I was
please
wondering
continue.
Arin is excellent at experimental psychospark craftery.
Say what now?
All we are electrical essences in the brain. I want to see how you've been changed. I'm willing to undergo the same thing.
I think Arin at this goes, say what now? In here? Without my equipment?
Wait, are we talking about electroshock therapy? I've heard of this. There's like some golems, like in Golem Pit. Have you been to the Playful Turtle?
I think Clem looks at Arin at this, because he doesn't like it there, right?
Doesn't like it at the turtle? No. He's very annoyed.
He's adjacent to it. I don't know if he's actually been in there for electroshock
No, I don't know he has. Like, I guess he likes the Playful Turtle in that it accidentally provides him with amenities, but I don't think he's a fan of the place itself. No.
Yeah.
As we has established, right? Arin runs a medical clinic and he has to steal water from the spa above that people use for hot baths. So like Arin is a morally good enough person that he recognizes that this is pretty fucked up. Like the clean water I use for life-saving practices, I have to steal from the guys having Turkish baths, and they are legally in the right and I'm legally in the wrong. It's not great, you know?
To be fair to the Turkish bathers, they're also eating kebabs.
Yes.
Hot kebab water.
So I think Bidrohi is kind of like joking about it, but he's also trying to figure out if you're talking about giving Saida electroshock therapy to rewire her brain or something, because that's what it sounds like.
Clem goes, no, I'm talking about you.
Wait, why would I want electroshock therapy?
I've heard it's very constitutive for the soul and the body.
I'm fine, actually. I'm feeling great. Arin bhai, whatever treatment you have just done, it is working perfectly. I am feeling absolutely 100%.
Well, how is your healing clock actually?
So basically, I removed the level 2 harm, level 1. I removed the level 1 harm, and the previous level 2 harm is now level 1 harm.
Okay, so you have healed. Yes. Otherwise, I think he would contradict you. But I guess he says like, I guess he does not comment on it. He does not like to talk about his own successes.
Mhm.
But yes, he nods quietly and goes like, looks up at Clem, just indicating that like, yes, he's in better condition than I expected actually.
Mm-hmm. So great. I mean, that means I'm not a fan of the electroshock therapy anyway. I mean, I suppose I would, if Arin bhai, if Arin bhai said, Bidrohi, you need electroshock therapy right now, then I'd be like, Arin bhai, when you use that accent, I can't say no.
I think Clem gives Arin a very weighty look.
Yeah, I guess I guess Arin rolls his eyes, but he is your good friend. After all, so he says, well, it couldn't hurt, and it might help. This is like very like.
Wow,
He's not happy about this. But...
Like, I mean, that cannot be the basis on which this medical doctor makes decisions, right?
No, the basis on which he makes decisions is Clem is his friend, that he wants to help Clem.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. Yeah, that's even worse.
But he's just kind of signaling his reluctance to it without technically contradicting anything.
So is there a particular reason you want Bidrohi to go through electroshock therapy?
The reason Clem wants to do it is because Clem wants to basically get the readings of what happened when you got possessed, because you were possessed by Prince of Endings, and use that
he
to
will
change.
have been possessed.
I think that if Clem were to just say that, which I don't know if Clem is the kind of person who can just say that, then Bidrohi would be like, yes, let's do that, sure. If Clem's like, hey Bidrohi, there's something wrong with you, would you like electric shock therapy?
Get zapped.
On Pride.
No, I think
too.
Clem's being honest. This I think. Yeah, I think Clem says, look, I want to help your aunt, and I think this is the best way to do it. And I think they're going to say, you wouldn't have heard this, and I suppose it's best you hear it from me before Mishfig comes and visits you. I allowed myself to be spoken through by one of the gods of Gilly Gilly Gully. I was hoping we could bond over it. Maybe this way. Might be a good way to do it.
Sibling Clem, I open my arms to your desire to bond with me. I will not pretend that getting possessed by strange deities is something that I am passionate about. But if it's something you like and which I can engage with, then let us have at it. Arin bhai, fire up the toaster.
Well, it's really not that. It's really not that simple. I will have to come back with my equipment, and he goes into your speed.
Watch this, Samson. Samson bhai.
Oh
yes?
my god!
Yeah, I think he glides into the room effortlessly from outside, and he says, and he says, anything I can help with?
Samson bhai, where do you guys keep the things where you aggressively interrogate people with electricity?
My good friend is talking about the enhanced interrogation room. Very good. This way.
Excellent.
And yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. I do want to.
I can see I can see the episode summary now.
Yeah. I do want to point out here, I mean, like, we have a veil on torture, and I know you're not
Yeah.
being tortured, but we
Uh-huh.
should specify for listeners also, no actual torture is going to occur.
Mhm.
However,
Mm.
this man is definitely going to undergo electroshock therapy.
Which
Well,
in
he's
season
going
one,
to-
in
he's
season
going
one,
to
we were
undergo
so
readings.
ambivalent about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're only being measured, right? Arin is just
Mm.
lightly shocking you to see your reactions, actually. So,
Mhm.
anyway, Samson will show you to this room, which, to be clear here, is actually a huge favor. Like,
Yeah.
this is above and beyond what he would, even for a VIP client, he doesn't usually let people access, like, the cops' equipment.
Mhm.
So,
Mm.
he is being sucking up to you extraordinarily,
Mm.
Samson bhai,
being very helpful.
I will definitely remember this. And also, I have never been in this room. This room doesn't exist. Arin bhai, this room doesn't exist. Sibling Clem, this room doesn't exist. Right, Samson bhai?
Well, that would be the most convenient, though.
And Samson
he-
bhai, I am
he
here
just
to
is.
make your life good. You're making my life good. I will make your life good. It's all good.
Wow.
Bidrohi, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Shall I leave you alone in
Oh
here?
my
Or...
god.
Uh,
Shall I leave you alone in here, or do you need more from me? It's truly,
Yeah.
like, I mean, of all the things that, like,
Uh-huh.
could possibly be said in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Arin bhai, you understand how to operate the equipment, right?
Yes, quite. Where did you even get a hold of this? He looks at Samson and then, yes, of course, you didn't get a hold of it. You don't have it. Yes. All of this
Yes.
political speech. I wonder who built it. It looks like. He looks over it with great interest because equipment is this is rare enough that he could probably name the individual scientist who invented it given time,
Oh
but
my
he doesn't have
gosh.
time for that.
But then Samson will have to kill him.
Yes, pretty much.
Yes.
He looks over the equipment, and then I guess this will be done. So, Clem, is this a new long-term project, or are you working on an old long-term project?
I'm working on a new name of the prince, I think, here.
Yes,
To
I think
extract
so too.
that information, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so, yeah, what Arin will be able to give you, and I think you would probably have to have Saeeda to interpret some of this, right? I don't think, even if this mechanically finishes the clock, it makes no sense that you would get true and accurate information here because you're not an occultist. But what Arin will be able to do is measure Bidrohi's brain activity and notice, I guess, lingering signs of electroplasmic interference from occult sources. That much can be done. So there's going to be some sort of weird electroplasmic diagram produced as a result of this, that if things goes well, Saeeda will somehow be able to read.
Yeah. I was thinking that Clem does this with Arin, because I think they've probably got... I'd like to roll some tinker, please.
Yes.
Because Clem might be really good at smashing things, but I've decided they're also really good at building things as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Tinker to rejigger the equipment to do this, because it's not built to do it. And if you want to make it a group action with Arin, that's fine.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Can I also participate in this?
Are we...
Yes. But it would have to be with Tinker, because that's how the rules work. So, Bidrohi could help out jiggering with stuff.
I mean, arguably, Bidrohi is tinkering with his brain.
If you wish to, you all may. Just as a note, Clem takes 1 stress per person who fails on a group action.
I'll see how it goes. Is this going to be a fortune roll? As
it's a downtime action, so yes. I think it is a fortune roll.
Yeah.
I don't think... again, you're only actually measuring Bidrohi's brain, so there's no... If you were actually trying to shock him, there might be danger involved, but this is just basically hooking it up to read activity. I think basically what you're using is some sort of primitive lie detector for this, actually.
Incredible.
I was going to say maybe it's like a CT scan, but lie detector is definitely better.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, actually, instead of the group action, I'm going to give
That's
you an
a 6,
assist.
though.
Okay.
That is a 6.
I'm going to assist you because maybe it'll be a crit.
Yeah, I'll roll another d6. Let's see how it goes.
Because
also, we're synchronized, so 2 6s are...
Okay, so it's a 6, and you rolled for Arin already, right?
I haven't, no.
No.
Okay.
So if Arin rolls a 6,
he has 3 dice, if I recall correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, he's an expert.
Oh, wait, we get an extra... do we get an extra die? Or is it just in combat?
It's just in combat.
Isn't it?
So, but it's still a 6 and no one fails, so... So you get 3
Fantastic.
ticks towards this project. Does that finish it?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I have steadily been filling up this project with a special ability that I took precisely to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So this new name of
Yeah.
reference. So I think what will happen is that Arin expects this to just output some lines on a graph. You know, like it'll output a reading, and then through the waves you can maybe decode something, and you have to do some very tedious mathematics to it. But I think what instead happens is that there is this like reading of brainwave activity, and there is a mark, and then like unexpectedly the reading ends because the prince of endings.
Yes.
And
Very good.
like Arin looks at the equipment and goes like, well, he's not dead, so the equipment must be malfunctioning as the as the machine
Yes.
continues to output nothing for a second.
I think Clem looks over it and goes, "This is exactly what we're looking for. Abnormalities."
Yes,
Cool.
well, this is highly abnormal. Bidrohi, are you dead? Just checking.
If so, do we need to do something about it? Because ghosts in
Yes.
this, in Udwasha get dragged into the well. Yeah.
I think that is his instinct to just ask you.
Arin bhai, how can I be dead when I'm hearing your voice and this is reason enough to live?
Oh my god.
Ah, very good, he says, and he looks back at the diagram, which is still registering nothing. And then I think it starts to do all kinds of strange stuff. Like it repeats the readings that led up to the ending, but backwards.
Oh,
How's my brain looking?
Yeah.
very interesting. Are
Uh-huh.
you sure I can't open it up? And I think Clem smiles over. They're having you on.
Yeah.
I have one idea for what could appear actually. Which is
Okay.
I think it's
Yes.
possible at some point. Because it's a 6. I think it's possible at some point it just starts looking like handwriting.
Yeah. I think so too. I was going to get to that. So like first it just ends, then it starts outputting things backwards, and then the thing just starts to like write. But I'm gonna stick with this idea that only Saeeda can read it. So it's actually writing in the lost language of Ipri. I think
Nice. Very good.
that's what starts to be outputted on the on the paper.
A+.
And Arin just goes like, well, all right, equipment's haunted, fantastic. And he goes,
don't
anyone
tell
have
Samson this or he'll be upset.
Yes.
And don't haunt the secret Fursan torture equipment, okay?
Yeah. Aaron goes, anyone have a pistol? I need to put this thing down.
Samson bhai!
Yeah.
No.
Samson pops his head back inside and he goes, so sorry. Can I help you with anything else? I had a little bit of an urgent matter. I may have to be right back, sir. Can I help you with anything else? First?
We're done. We're done. We're done in your room that doesn't exist.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Then I will see you back in your room, sir.
Excellent.
Uh-huh.
Man, getting tortured really. Is there like any shik kebab?
Uh-huh.
Oh, sorry, Arin bhai. I shouldn't be talking about kebab in front of you.
Arin picks up the readings, frustrated with them, and kind of, for a moment, looks a little green as if he's about to throw up. He goes, no, please don't. I'm quite sick of it, actually.
It's okay. We'll get you some plain rice.
Thank you. How is the food in here, by the way? He looks at Bidrohi curiously, since you seem to have your own personal butler.
Is it the case that some like incredibly talented like Severosi chef has been recently also jailed, and now he's like very carefully making French escargot for whoever wants it?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
this is
catered
possible.
by Maximilian Molyneux.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, Clem, are you done with what you needed here?
Yes, I
will
am.
give over this. Yeah. So you will leave, but I will stay on the scene with Bidrohi for a moment because I was thinking about having this happen later, but I think it will just make sense to stay in the scene now with what you yourself have set up to happen. So I blame you for this.
Okay.
But
so me eating my shish kebab, how does it go
yes.
wrong? How could it possibly go wrong?
Yes. Well, what happens is that you are taken to the kitchens to eat, like probably to a mess hall to eat. Because like they can deliver food to your room, but it's not always convenient. And Samson did say he had other matters.
Sure.
And then a different guard will appear to escort you, putting a hand on your shoulder. He's an unremarkable guy, very low ranking. Like Samson probably had some sort of patch indicating that he is, higher up in the organization. But this is just lower ranking for San. And he is rather more rude with you. You haven't even finished your food yet. And he just says, "Sir, it is time to return to your cell."
Oh man, is it?
Yes.
Really?
Come on.
Really? Okay, fine.
Oh my god. Bidrohi really can't help but like piss whoever he really needs not to piss off off.
I mean, it's good. Have you had this kebab?
He looks at you a little gruffly and he says, have I?
Oh no. I was addressing Tree.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Oh yes. Of course I'm. Yeah. I mean, oh my god.
This, but yes, this little guard who he looks up at you quite gruffly and he goes, "Okay, come on, let's go." And he treats you a lot less well, actually. Yeah. He treats you like any other inmate. He just kind of prods you along.
Yeah.
And he takes you down towards the cells, down into the room with like these luxury rooms. And he must be very new at the job because he leads you to the wrong cell. You haven't even been here that long, and you can tell that.
Do I get a I'm about to get murdered vibe?
You do get a vibe that something is about to happen. Yeah.
Oh, that much I figured out. But so it's like this.
No.
Bidrohi, asked, "Are you sure?" just to ascertain that this is the vibe, and he realized that this guard isn't his friend. So that's why he's like fully compliant, but he's also keeping an eye out for like actually getting murdered.
You can actually absolutely make a study roll or something. You're in a controlled position. I can tell you that much, but you can try to figure out more about what's going on. What?
I'll call it survey if it's okay.
Yeah, survey. Yeah, makes sense. Surveying the areas you're let in. I think it's controlled. I think we'll start out in a controlled limited because there just isn't very much information. You can trade it up if you interact more with this guy, I think, but just watching him and walking alongside him, he isn't giving away very much. So controlled limited for that reason.
I think controlled limited is fine. I'm going to roll it as it is.
Okay.
And it's a 1.
It's a 1. Okay, you may retry from a risky position. But I think what happens is that you can tell by now that this guy is deliberately leading you in the wrong direction, and he's doing it quite alone, which is also unusual. Samson has led you around alone in what time you've been here. It's probably been a little while. It might have taken them a day or two to fetch Arin. You've had this very friendly man lead you around alone, but this is a lone, low-ranking guard. He really isn't supposed to be.
Okay.
You may retry. The consequence is you may retry from a risky position. Otherwise, you just get this information that something is wrong, and you can continue to poke and pry. But if you don't, you will be caught by surprise by what happens next.
Am I manacled?
No, I don't think.
Then I think Bidrohi is going. This is me speaking entirely from Bidrohi's perspective now. So he'll be like, "Okay, something's up. If shit really hits the fan, I can get this guy's weapon, I guess, and then go down fighting." But like, this isn't how I expect it to be treated in Falcon's Perch. But this is me clearly being treated like this in Falcon's Perch. So there's nothing else I can do. So I just continue.
Yeah. All right. So this little guy who is only really armed with a truncheon, he unlocks the wrong cell door, and it may just be a mistake, although you can sense that something is up. And he does it kind of discreetly. And as he does, he turns towards you and gives you a meaningful look. And then you hear almost immediately the sound of an altercation from inside. And it's Samson's voice. And he goes, "You little shit! You don't think like that, you little shit! Do you understand me?" And then there's the sound of someone's head being pounded into a table.
I look at the guard, and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah, you hear the sound of Samson violently abusing someone inside, and the guard looks up at you. And here is what is happening, and here's what you're being caught unawares by. This little man is not one of the guards. at Falcon's Perch. He is not a Fursan. He has switched his uniform with someone else, and he is judging you. He's waiting to see your reaction to this. Welcome to the Vigilant.
Okay.
That's what's going on. You introduced this faction, so I'm laying it on the table. This is a Vigilant, and he's judging you.
Mm-hmm. And then I think.
You can look inside the room, by the way. Like
that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to poke my head in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what is happening is that there is a young man who is one of the Ash Cloister actors. He is here in some capacity as entertainment. Maybe that is the services Samson usually provides. Maybe it is a different one. And Samson is absolutely beating the shit out of him in a fit of violent rage. Apparently he's displeased one of the important people.
Mm-hmm. And if I turn around, is the guy gone?
The little man?
Yeah.
He no, the guard is watching you, but he is not interfering himself. He watches you almost with like a look of I am giving you information. Well,
Mm-hmm.
at least in the first like couple of moments. Maybe he will do something, but he is waiting to see what you will do first.
Okay.
Can I do something?
I'm thinking, but yeah. What do you want to do?
I just want to take one stress and whisper a message to you. I mean, everybody in our cult is going to hear it, but our cult is like 5 people, so it's not a big deal.
Sure.
And I think that in this case, because I think some of what this is like somewhat unconscious, but I think what's happening is that Saeeda will just say, don't let anybody tell you you were someone you're not.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I realize that I'm presenting Bidrohi with a difficult choice here, but that is intended.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's fine. I'm just I'm just pulling
Uh-huh.
things together. I think Bidrohi kind of like he straightens himself. He straightens his waistcoat, which is Tumdurji special, and he he knocks on the cell door loudly and says, "Samson bhai, what's happening here? What is this behavior?"
Yeah, Samson pauses. He stops, and the poor young man is almost beaten unconscious. And he lifts his hand gently off of him, and he says, "Oh, prison riot, sir. Sorry, sir."
One
And
man
he flashes
riot.
you a winning smile.
Is it like
Yeah.
I know this guy. I know he does like a one man show, but like I've never heard him do a one man riot.
Well, every fire starts with a spark, sir. I'm pleased to say you and the other people present will be quite safe. Don't worry about a thing, sir. Prison riot, mark my words. His first target was a very important man in the cell next to yours. I would hate for anything to happen to you, sir.
Absolutely not. We wouldn't want any funny business in the VIP wing, right? And Samsung, I am very much appreciating the room, very much appreciating the service. You are a stand-up guy, and I'm glad that we can be friends. But I don't know, this guy, like, okay, maybe he's making some mistakes here and there. I don't know. I don't know the details. Don't tell me, obviously. But come on.
He has, by the way, just left this guy to like bleed out on the floor. Like he does not even treat him as a person anymore. It's just you are his concern right now.
Yeah, and he's coming towards me, right, Samson?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I see. Samson, this one-man show this guy's got, and at this point I don't think I'm making it up because you said that I recognized him, right?
Yeah.
This one-man show that this guy's got, at one point he juggles 10 watermelons. Okay? Now, you look me in the eye, right? And you tell me that a man who can juggle 10 watermelons is not a man whose art is worth preserving in this world. You look me in the eye, Samson Bhai. I know you will not say otherwise because you have a soul.
Yeah.
And basically,
he looks you in the eye. Yeah.
Yeah, continue.
Yeah. He looks you in the eye, flashes you a winning smile, and says, "I will find you another juggler, sir." And he truly means that. He will find you another better one.
Samson Bhai, Samson bhai, I like this juggler. And, I think we're both smiling at each other. And I am, I think, like a foot shorter than Samson,
Yeah.
right? But I think I'm going to stand in a way where I'll be like, I like this juggler, and don't tell me, as I said, what went down. But if there's someone who has problems with him, please tell this person that I would like to vouch for this person on the floor, and I would like it to be my problem. If you can just send that word around and we can handle it at that level, that'd be great. As like people in the VIP wing should handle.
Of course. I'll forward your message, but rest assured, I take care of my people. Mr. Samhorse doesn't even know about this man's mistake. Don't you worry. And he puts a hand on your shoulder.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
That's the man in the cell next to you, Mr. Samhorse.
Oh my god.
That means obviously nothing to Bidrohi at the moment.
Yeah, why would it?
Yes.
Why would
but then he just says, very cool. If Arin Bhai is still in the premises, I would like him to please take care of this man.
Now I think you have to make a roll, because now you are making a request that's outside of what this guy usually does, which is provide services.
Yeah. And I'm making a request, but I'm not making a request.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would.
It can be command if you want.
That's what I'm doing. I think Samson Bhai is obviously, this is his turf, but his job is to take care of violent criminals. I am a violent criminal.
Yes.
And I don't want to interfere. The beating part that's between me and Sam Horse, and he's already been beaten. But having discharged that, I would my interest at this point is that this person stays alive.
Yes. So
yes,
I think we will frame this as risky limited. Okay. And the reason it's limited is that Samson will tell you he's going to take care of this guy if you succeed. And then he's going to, not kill him and let him out of here. And, his survival from that point will be his problem. This man is unimportant. Well, so you start out in a risky limited.
Okay. I'd like it to be desperate standard.
Okay. If it is desperate, then I think what you are risking here, and this is a very funny desperate consequence, but I think it's desperate in context, is for Samson to truly understand you, and that you are in fact a soft-hearted man of principles and not the sort of fellow he can work with. Which will be very bad for your stay in prison, because Samson likes criminals that he can work with.
Yeah. So I think the standard effect here is going to be that this isn't me saying, hey, could you please get this man a doctor? It's me saying, get this man a doctor.
Yeah.
You have discharged your duty, and this is some extra duties on top.
Okay, desperate standard it is.
All right. Devil's bargain?
What's an interesting devil's bargain? I'm trying to fit in something that could work even if this guy dies, which is a possibility if you fail here.
Would it matter to you if your crew finds out that you tried something and it didn't work out?
What if this guy is someone who is one of Mumtaz's rivals or something? Or this involves Mumtaz in some way, actually.
Yeah. I think I was going in that direction. So yeah, let's say that it is. This is... but I don't think a rival is interesting in this. Oh yes, this is the spicy one, of course. Mumtaz briefly dated this guy.
Oh my god!
They broke up amicably. It wasn't like a thing, but they did. He is technically a romantic rival.
Yeah, I didn't know this.
Yeah, I think that's your devil's bargain. That is quite spicy and quite bad, actually.
Yeah.
Whether he lives or dies.
Yeah. That's all right. It's okay. This is the right thing to do.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm taking.
Then I think we should give this guy a name, or at least a stage name, so that we remember him. So he is a juggler and all-around performer. Probably some sort of acrobat as well. So obviously he has a stage name. What?
I said we could call him Yorick. because
Your
he may
itch,
well
yes.
die.
Yes.
Sure. This is I haven't used this ability in a while. But could I be forging an intimate connection at this moment with Samson? In the sense that he will essentially be my prison, what's the word, valet as such.
Okay, I will give it to you, but you may not like it because Samson is a nasty, nasty man, actually.
Yeah,
But
but
you can
he
take
is.
the +1
But
die.
he's the nasty man that I've been given.
Yep.
I can't
he
be
is.
like, hey Ruxana, can I get a different guy?
Yeah.
This guy's vibes are
Zoheb,
weird.
Zoheb, you have accurately described 60% of arranged marriage in South Asia.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, there's the devil's bargain plus this. Let's go. See what happens.
All right. Let's see.
Okay. Oh, it's a 4.
Okay, so Samson will say, "Yes, sir. Of course, sir." And he is going to take care of this man.
Mhm.
And the desperate consequence is simply you lose your prison claims, all of them.
Mhm.
Oh my
Because
god.
Samson goes like, "Fuck you. You're not useful."
Yeah, I'm going to resist that. I'm
Yep.
going to
Yeah,
make
you
this
could.
very much worth his while with
Yep,
my
good.
personal money.
All right, sure. So if you resist it, then I think you can keep your prison claims, but you will have to post a hefty bribe to this guy. And it won't have to be now, but it'll be the sort of thing where he goes, "Yes, of course, sir, I will do this for you, sir." And he will expect a very fat tip. So let's call it 2 coin.
Yeah.
Yep. And in exchange, Samson is my guy. Well, he's also other people's guys, but he's my guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and more importantly, I am his guy.
Yes, absolutely. You will save this performer's life, and Samson will think that you're a bit eccentric, but you're nice to work with.
Yeah. And I will also say, and please, please give my best regards to Mr. Samhorse, and please tell him that Bidrohi and Khatam, his next door neighbor, would very much like to have a conversation with him.
Yes, absolutely. So I don't know if this is an insight or a resolve resist. It feels more like an insight to me than a resolve, actually, because it's less about willpower and more about figuring out what this guy's deal is, right?
Yep.
Like
Let's go.
basically figuring out that you will need to give him a hefty present after this.
That's a stress.
So you take 1 stress and lose 2 coin.
Yes. That's fine.
Have you marked them?
Yes.
Good.
Cool.
All right.
That's me with 2 downtime actions.
Yes.
In fact, could it be? Can I just call this one playbook training?
Sure.
And I don't know, give Samson some extra money to be my messenger. Okay. Cool.
Sure, you can do some playbook training as well.
So that's 3 downtime actions done.
Good. Oh yeah, because you have 3 for free. Yeah. Maybe this is, an experience. You know what? When a man with money meets a man with experience, the man with the experience leaves with the money, and the man with the money leaves with the experience. That's what happens.
Is that something people say?
Yes.
What?
Interesting. I did not know that.
You haven't heard that before? It's a lovely saying.
Yeah.
And in this case, yeah, the experienced man, that is Samson, leaves with the money, and you leave with the experience of having met Samson. And yeah.
And that is what it is.
Yeah, and I think in return you have him pretty much entirely figured out, which is he is a man who kicks downwards and licks upwards. He is an absolute suck up to people he thinks are his betters, and he is like willing to beat people to death if he thinks they're inferior to him. So
yeah, and I have established in his mind that as insofar as if there's moments where my interest is looking after my inferiors, as it were, right? So if I hear about him doing this sort of thing, this is what he's going to get. This is what he's going to expect, which basically means he's probably going to mostly do it either making sure that I don't hear about it, or that I do hear about it so that I can pay him more money to stop it.
Yes, pretty much. It's more going to be the latter. Like as
Yes,
long
I
as you
know.
give him big fat bribes to not kick people, he's going to refrain from kicking people.
Yeah, and meanwhile he's getting paid to kick people. This is actually, you know what? This is what's going to happen. Like there is a knave. He knows. He has essentially created the perfect opportunity, an incentive for Samson to not kick people.
Yes.
And I have obviously Bidrohi has no idea who that little man was. But
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he
But-
did this because that's what Bidrohi would do.
Yes, but I think the vigilant have seen you, right?
Mm.
And they have seen that you did stick up for the little guy,
Mhm.
and you did it at some expense to yourself. So,
But
I
you
think
also did it in a clever way. It
Yeah.
wasn't just, I'm going to turn up and beat you because I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Listen,
but their whole
like
point was
Chic
to show
Club.
this to you. Yeah, their point was to show this to you, and then who knows what the next step of their plan was.
Mm.
So, that's
Oh, by the
everyone's
way,
downtime
I
stuff.
think we should tell the viewer what the vigilant is. I think they can sort of figure it out, but we should mention it.
You wrote them, so go ahead. This is entirely your brainchild.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to it. I won't read out the thing, but it's basically like the idea that just as. So the idea was that just as in Dustworld, there's the unseen, right, who are tier 4 faction, and they're criminals that no one knows even exists. And then there's the Hive, who are tier 4. In Uduasha, we wrote down Munna from season 1, right? He was a tier 4 guy, and we wanted to give him like a shadowy sort of rival, but we didn't want to just have the unseen again. So basically, the idea was that there's this informal, almost like legendary network of like just citizens who just look out for the little guy, and it's like just an entire organization full of Batmen. Yeah, and that's the basic idea, that they're always everywhere, that they're always watching, and they do their things entirely unseen. They are not tier 4 anymore, they're tier 3, because it seemed a bit too fantastical. But like, yeah, they've always been in this setting, but we just didn't do anything with them before. So it's cool to see them. Or not see them.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
So I have a proposal for the score coming up.
Yeah.
We do have a score. We do have stakes coming up. It is likely to be probably on the shorter side.
Yep.
And my proposal for this is that we have a score that involves Clem and Saeeda burning this table, and Bidrohi meeting Mr. Samhorse. And I
Okay.
think that will be stakes enough. So like, it's not related to what's going on, but I think it means Bidrohi will at the same time be in a high stakes situation. Does that
Yeah,
make
Then what
sense?
will I do?
Oh, hello. When did you
Oh,
arrive?
hello.
Oh my god.
Well, Jesus, don't sneak up on me like that.
Did nobody notice that Aadiyat had joined us? I was
No.
like, this is
I
what,
heard
this is what I said in the
button.
chat. We should consider a break and we can catch him up.
I
Okay,
heard the
well then
joining
let's
button, and I thought it was
They
Hande just
exist,
listening
Aadiyat.
to the session or something. I don't know.
let's take a break here and catch Aadiyat up. Hello.
Yes.
Welcome.
Hello, yeah, I've been here for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what was going on. I heard a lot of stuff about something about a doctor, like literally asking someone for a doctor, and then being experienced, then losing money or something.
Yes.
I've been experienced.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have been experienced, correct.
Here close the doors to the house of endings. Those who dwell within are Zoheb, called Klow, Aadiyat, called Soap, Samitri, called Tree, and Salty. I have been Prince, your host. Our city of Uduasha is based on Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions, with special thanks to Johnstone Metzger. Follow us on Twitter or support us on kofi.com/desperateattune. If you want to engage further with us, we also have a Patreon at patreon.com/desperateattune, where you will get our newsletter, extra content, and updates from Uduasha.
Next time on Desperate Attune.
And Clem, what obvious signs of ascetism that this woman has practiced are visible on her body or her clothes.
Ooh. I think that you'd expect a wizard of the world to be, maybe a bit singed or scarred or burned from being so close and enduring this heat, or bear tattoos or other markings to protect themselves from it. Her skin is completely unscathed, glassy even.
Alright.
Oh no, she's Botoxed her entire body.
Yes. What a sign of penance.